Guys, as you can see, or at least try to see, it is 7:57, which shows that yes, I had stayed up at 5:30 in the morning to see Beast in the East. So I literally stayed up for as long as I could to see it, and I'm gonna tell you right now, it was worth watching. Every single bit of it was worth watching. I enjoyed it highly. Seriously, I really did. One of the best kickoff matches that I've ever watched in my entire life. Chris Jericho versus Neville. Never really expected Jericho. And for me, because I didn't really see the entire card, but I'm glad I actually did see that match. That was one of the best kickoffs I have ever seen. Seriously, it was really good. And seeing Neville go against a vet is mad respect. It really, really is. But y'all, by far, I never really expected this to be, I mean, I kind of expected it to be good because, of course, Brock Lesnar is on it. But the fact is that things were kind of changed around. Things you never really expected to be changed around. Doesn't mean it was overall bad. We just never expected it. Now, I'm going to get into the Divas match because I want to get it over with. And as coming from someone like me who is a huge fan of the Divas, that's kind of sad. But you kind of expected people to react the way they did because you don't necessarily see a lot of Japanese women in wrestling. You don't. I'm not saying that they're not there, but you just don't see a huge abundance of them. So, of course, people are not going to care. The one thing I'm going to say is I'm very happy to actually see that Nikki Bella had pants that covered her butt cheeks at least a little bit. Maybe a small hair of them was showing, but at least she wore pants that was long enough to cover her butt. I'm happy to see that. And she kept the girls caged, which really made me happy. And it also made me happy to see Tamina there as well as Paige. Now, I was rooting for Tamina the entire time. I even said it on Twitter that I was rooting for her. Still am. But since that did not happen, I had a gut feeling that they were going to do what they were going to do. Especially the commentary kind of acknowledged it. Not to mention the commentary. They were actually calling the match. This was actually feeling professional and not random. Can they do this every day? I would be happy to hear this every day. But honestly, you had Byron Saxton out there. You had JBL out there. You had your usual Raw team out there. But honestly, guys, it was very professional. I loved every bit of that commentary. I'm like, you guys need to be like this every freaking day. Not only that, and I guess going back to the Divas, that the one thing that kind of made me realize that Paige and Tamina are not going to hold those belts for a long time is that they're trying to beat AJ Lee's record. AJ Lee had a record of 295 days. Nikki is at 220, probably around there, around that number. My guess is that Nikki is not going to be leaving until next year's WrestleMania. She's going to do the exact same thing that AJ Lee did when AJ Lee bowed out after WrestleMania, and I think she's going to do the same thing the same way. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems like it's gearing in that direction. But Paige is going to probably be the next successor to actually take the belt from her, since I've kind of seen this before with Beth Phoenix and Mickie James, how Mickie James was the one to actually officially beat Beth Phoenix clean. So I'm not going to really be surprised if Paige is going to be the next person to take the belt. And then it's going to probably be Naomi, and then it's going to probably be Tamina. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. But either or, the match itself wasn't bad. It actually, they brought as much as their A game as they possibly could. They didn't disappoint. It actually was all right. But the finish was just sour. It was. And it seemed like Paige was just so pissed off that she just walked off. That's how I personally saw it. But despite all that, it was an okay match. It really was. And I enjoyed it. But the match that was indeed the funniest, and I guess I could rate this as the funniest match of the evening, was the Beast in the East. The Beast in the East itself match. I guess it really wasn't named that, but the fact that Brock Lesnar was facing Kofi Kingston, come on, guys. Like, on the real, as funny as that match was, you saw all the in memoriam Kofi Kingston with his birthday in 2015 on the bottom. You saw tombstones being made on Twitter. It was just ridiculous how we all knew that Kofi was just going to get annihilated. And that he did. He tried to at least have some decent offense. But there's only so much a high flyer can do against a beast. He literally was kicking him and it was like love taps. And it was just absolutely funny to watch. It really was. It was love taps, like just kicking him in the leg, punching him in the chest. He just tried. And he didn't succeed. He got annihilated. And then New Day came to help him and then they got annihilated. Like, seriously, it was just ridiculous how really short that match really was. But, you know, he's the freaking beast. Not to mention that he's going up against Seth Rollins at Battleground in a few weeks. So he's definitely got to keep himself up. But, yeah, that was a very entertaining match to see Kofi Kingston get buried the way he did. And I know people are like, well, Kofi Kingston's not getting put. I'm going to be honest with you. Do you honestly believe that Kofi Kingston was going to come out on top against Brock Lesnar? No, he's not. And it's okay. It really is. Kofi's a heel. He's a heel now. When you're a heel, you don't get that much of an advantage. You just don't. So you got to expect that. And I kind of expected that going in. But I have to admit, this was the most entertaining squash match I have ever watched. It really was. Very entertaining. But before I get into the real main event, let's get into the actual main event. This should not have been a main event at all. This should not have even been close to being a main event. But of course, John Cena was in it, and now they have him as the main event. Let's be honest, y'all. That's what it was. You had Dolph Ziggler, the guy that can't really get a push unless he has a chick on his arm. You got Kane, which is on his way out anyway. He's practically neutered now. And then you got King Barrett, who is suffering from the King's curse. So do you honestly believe that any of those guys would be a reason why they're in the main event? No, it was because of Cena. Let's put it that way. If Cena wasn't in this main event, it wouldn't have been a main event. It would have been somewhere in the middle. Seriously, it would have been. But on the real, and I'm not blaming Cena here, I'm just speaking how it is. And that's usually how it's always paired up. But on the real, this match was pointless. It was. It wasn't bad. It just was pointless. Because you were already emotionally drained after watching Balor versus Owens. Now, looking at that, you think they will learn their lesson from the many years they've had the streak match. From the many years they have regularly put the streak match in the middle of the freaking card. And then nobody cares about the rest. And that's what happened at WrestleMania 28. And WrestleMania 28, as well as WrestleMania 27 before it, leading on down to WrestleMania 30. The streak has always been the victim of taking out matches and literally causing people not to care, because the match would literally emotionally drain you of every single ounce of anything emotional in your body. Like, all your feelings will be tapped out after watching that match. And somehow they haven't learned their lesson. They got one of the biggest performers in NXT. You got Finn Balor. And you got Kevin Owens. A hot heel and a hot something. It's like a hot heel or a hot something. But I really don't know if he's a face or heel. I don't know. He's an enigma. But regardless of that, you got two of the most hottest guys in NXT being in a match that's highly anticipated, and you put that next to the main event. Yeah, but despite all that, I will say that the match wasn't bad. They gave it their all. They did what they could. It wasn't horrible. It just was misplaced. It should not have been the main event. It should have been the event before the main event. Seriously. But that's how it is. And the sad part is a lot of people were expecting Kevin Owens to come out there and knock out Cena. That probably happened off air, but that's probably not going to happen on the air. So sorry guys for those that were expecting that. But let's talk about the actual main event, in my humble opinion, of the entire night. It definitely was Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor by freaking far. And in the back of my mind, I always knew that Finn Balor was going to take the belt. I always knew it. But good grief, was it such in a... It was a huge fashion. Like, seriously, it was just in a very over-the-top, overly emotional, overly appreciated fashion that they literally just they outdid themselves. Seriously. This was Finn Balor's home. This is where he made his name as Prince Devitt. And then you end up getting Kevin Owens coming in there. I mean, seriously, it was like the best. And I know there was a lot of people that was pissed off with the fact of their tradition, and it was tradition to like throw streamers in the ring as well as giving the opponents flowers. And you know, Kevin Owens kind of tossed the flowers away. He actually had to play heel, guys. For those that are pissed off about that, don't be. Because he's a heel. He had to be a heel. He had the same character. And I'm glad he did it. Because the one thing that the internet ruined was kayfabe. And it's nice to actually see kayfabe come out every once in a while. Kevin Owens stayed true to who he is on screen, always on screen. He never deviates. He never breaks the character. He stays who he is. You don't see that anymore. That's a rare treat. So don't be mad if he stays character by insulting people on the air, because that's what he has to do. So I'm kind of happy that he stayed that way. That's what he was supposed to do. And he got a lot of heat for it, which is even better. But Finn Balor by far got mad respect. Like seriously, mad respect. And it was so amazing how everyone just went nuts when they saw him and the spotlight on him. Because it showed that they really remembered him and how cherished he was to all of his fans in Japan. I love that. I really did. And that was a great match in itself. It literally kept my heart racing. I was screaming to the top of my lungs. I love the fact that Finn Balor won. And I kind of knew he was going to, because this was his home. And it would have ruined his name if he lost against a heel. So I'm kind of happy that he did, kept his reputation intact, as well as taking the belt from Kevin Owens, which shows that, that Kevin Owens is going to take the belt from John Cena at Battleground. So we kind of pretty much know the outcome there. But either way, it was a great match. But before I close this off, I gotta say this. The crowd was amazing. It really was. The crowd was absolutely amazing. I was absolutely floored when I heard the Let's Go Cena sucks chant. I really, really did. I never expected them to ever say that. I never expected them to ever do that. But they did. And it was great. And they had so much fun. It was really great to see that. And they were very respectable, very honorable. And I really wish the fans were like that here. But they're not. But either or, it was really great to watch. Worth every single minute. It was worth staying up to 5:30 to actually see this. But guys, I want to hear your overall thoughts. Seriously, I want to hear your overall thoughts about this pay-per-view. I guess, no, it's not really a pay-per-view, but it's more like a special event. But I want to hear your thoughts about the special event. Leave a comment in the comment section below about your personal thoughts about this actual, this wonderful special event that has happened in Japan. And guys, I am about to leave now because I am tired. I actually have been up since 4:30. So on the real, I am about to leave. But happy 4th of July for those in the States. Celebrate it safely, and I will see y'all later. Peace out, y'all.